It was a rainy Thursday morning in Boston when Jonathan Brooks stood on the TEDx stage, gripping the microphone with a mix of nervousness and conviction. He looked out over the packed auditorium, his heart beating like a war drum. At 37, Jonathan had seen both the brightest peaks of success and the darkest valleys of failure. But what he was about to share wasn't just a speech. It was the essence of everything life had taught him, wrapped in 9 powerful lessons that had changed him forever. "Good morning," he began, voice steadying. "If you're sitting here wondering if life can be better than what you're currently living, let me tell you, yes, it can. I'm not going to offer you shortcuts. I'm going to offer you truths. Hard ones. Life-changing ones. These 9 rules didn't just help me survive. They helped me win." The audience leaned in, intrigued. No slides. No graphics. Just a man, a mic, and the raw force of lived experience. Jonathan's journey began like many others, with dreams far bigger than his circumstances. He was raised in a small town in Indiana, son of a steelworker named Mike Brooks and a school secretary named Janet. They didn't have much, but they had grit. Still, grit doesn't always pay the bills or buy a ticket out of the rusted suburbs. As a teenager, Jonathan would sit on the roof of his family's house staring up at the sky, wondering if the stars ever listened to poor kids. At 19, he got into a decent college in Chicago on a partial scholarship. But city life chewed him up. He fell behind in classes, surrounded himself with the wrong people, and started blaming everything but himself. "I thought the world owed me something," he said, pacing slowly across the stage. "But the world doesn't owe us. The world mirrors us." It wasn't until his junior year that Jonathan's wake-up call came. One night, after flunking a midterm and losing his part-time job at a diner, he called his father in tears. Mike, a quiet, stern man, didn't say much, but what he said hit like a sledgehammer. "Son, if you don't take responsibility for your life, someone else will. And they won't care about you like you do." That night everything changed. Jonathan dropped the blame and picked up accountability. He didn't magically become successful overnight. But the first rule to winning life burned into his heart: take full ownership. No one was coming to save him. After graduating, he took an internship at a struggling marketing agency in Nashville. He was broke, living off ramen noodles and sleeping on a friend's couch. Most of his peers had jobs with better titles and fatter paychecks. But Jonathan learned another crucial rule: humility fuels growth. He showed up early, stayed late, and made himself indispensable. He didn't act like he was too good to fetch coffee or fix broken printers. In a year, the agency offered him a full-time job. Still, the road wasn't smooth. At 26, Jonathan faced a tough choice. His girlfriend of 5 years, Rachel, gave him an ultimatum: settle down or lose her. But Jonathan knew deep down he wasn't ready. His dream of launching a startup still haunted him. Tearfully, he let her go. "Sometimes," he told the crowd, "you have to sacrifice comfort for purpose. That's rule 3, dreams demand discipline. You don't get to have it all if you're not willing to let go of some things." His first startup failed. Miserably. It was an app designed to connect freelancers with clients. He invested his savings, maxed out his credit card, and worked 18-hour days. 6 months later, it crashed under the weight of bugs, bad marketing, and rushed planning. For weeks, he lay on his apartment floor, paralyzed by depression. "But here's where I learned the 4th rule," he said. "Failure is fertilizer." He smiled slightly at the confused looks. "It stinks. It's messy. But it grows you." That failure taught me more about business, strategy, and resilience than any MBA ever could. He got back up, started again. This time he built a company slowly, carefully, listening more than he talked. Jonathan surrounded himself with mentors, including a retired Navy officer named Tom Richardson, who drilled into him another life-changing rule: discipline beats motivation. Jonathan nodded as he recalled Tom's words. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a muscle. Years passed and the business grew. a marketing consultancy focused on small brands, helping them find their voice in a noisy world. By 32, Jonathan was earning more than he ever imagined, flying across the country for speaking engagements and working with clients he once dreamed of shadowing. But with success came temptation, ego, laziness, distraction. "I started thinking I was special," he admitted, pausing. "But the truth is, the moment you stop learning, you start declining." Rule 6 hit him hard: stay a student always. He hired coaches, read voraciously, and even took weekend classes at a local college. His hunger for growth kept his mind sharp and his spirit humble. Then tragedy struck. His mother, Janet, passed away unexpectedly from a stroke. Jonathan was shattered. The woman who cheered for him when no one else did, who sent him handwritten notes when he was down, was gone. "Her death taught me what might be the most painful rule of all," he said, his voice soft. "Love loud and often." He looked up at the crowd. "Don't assume people know how you feel. Tell them. Show them. While you still can." At 35, Jonathan hit what most would consider the peak. Multi-million-dollar valuation, TED invites, articles in Forbes. But he still woke up some mornings feeling hollow. That's when he remembered something his dad once told him during a fishing trip. "A man without a mission is just drifting." So he defined his next chapter, not chasing more money but creating more impact. He began mentoring young entrepreneurs, especially from underprivileged backgrounds. Started a foundation in his mother's name. Taught weekly classes in juvenile detention centers. Rule 8, he explained, was this: purpose is greater than profit. The final rule came to him just last year, standing alone at the top of a mountain trail in Colorado. It was a cold, clear morning, and he'd just completed a grueling 6-hour hike. As he stood staring at the horizon, lungs burning, heart pounding, he felt something deeper than pride. He felt peace. And it hit him. Winning life isn't about conquering the world. It's about mastering yourself. So the final rule was this: win the inner game. He told the audience, "You can build empires, collect followers, buy mansions, but if your soul is noisy, none of it matters. Silence the self-doubt, kill the comparison, and learn to live in peace with who you are." The room was silent now. Not a cough, not a shuffle, just hearts wide open. Jonathan leaned forward. These rules didn't come from textbooks. They came from tears, from heartbreak, from getting back up when life knocked me flat. And if they can work for me, a scared kid from Indiana, they can work for you. The only question is, are you ready to start playing to win? A slow wave of applause began, then erupted into a standing ovation. But Jonathan didn't smile for the crowd. He smiled for the person he used to be, the one who sat on the roof all those years ago wondering if the stars were listening. Maybe they were. Maybe they always are.